Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Trending Vegas. I'm Melissa Duran, and I'm joined by a part of the city's social media team, including Diana Paul and Jennifer Davies. We have a lot to talk about today, topics all over the spectrum, good news, bad news, in-between news. First, we have to start close to home, and that is the official first game at Allegiant Stadium, home to our Las Vegas Raiders. Here are some of the posts we saw on social. First, we have this post that we here at the city posted from the Las Vegas Raiders.
On November 13th, 2017, the countdown began.
Las Vegas, the Raiders are coming.
And now, the wait is finally over. Welcome to Allegiant Stadium. Otherwise known as the Death Star. What nightmares are made for opponents, and dreams are made for the Raider Nation.
Your Las Vegas Raiders.
On this Monday night, the lights will shine even brighter. So get ready, Raider Nation.
This is our field of dreams.
It's showtime.
Then we have this tweet from Mick Akers that says, "No parking lots, no problem. Fans parked in every nook and cranny they could, including in the middle of the road to hang out for the Raiders' first game at Allegiant Stadium." Here's another video of that crowd cheering after the Raiders scored a touchdown. Then we have responses from people like Tim Hanko that says, "Just let them inside. What's the difference?" And when I was watching that video, I thought to myself, what is the difference? I mean, they're outside, they're all kind of together. Why aren't we just letting them inside? I mean, it's a touchy topic, but let's talk about the Raiders. Jen, your thoughts on them being here. I'm super excited.
I'm excited also. I actually got to go down there for the first game. The Thunderbirds were doing a flyover of the stadium, so I was able to go down there and get some footage of it for our social media channels, and the energy was pretty exciting. I mean, no matter how you feel about what's going on in the world, it's a historic day for Las Vegas that we have our own pro football team. It's a long time in the making.
What were the crowds like down there? Were there a lot of people?
There were, actually. We parked at Mandalay Bay, so there were a ton of people there hanging out near the parking garage, just checking out the energy around the stadium, wearing their Raiders gear. So it was just exciting to be part of it.
Now, you were saying that Mandalay Bay wasn't letting people park there, correct?
Nope, they were not. So they had media, credentialed media on the roof, but they didn't want patrons like hanging out in the parking garage and taking photos of the stadium. So we had to be down on the public sidewalk, and it was a little hot, but we made it work.
All right. Diana, your thoughts on our Las Vegas Raiders team?
Yeah, I mean, the engagement on our social media channels, anytime we post about the Raiders or really any of the professional sports teams now, is really exciting. A lot of people are excited to see the Raiders come here. We also have the Aces that are winning, and we have the Golden Knights, of course. So I've lived here my whole life, and I'm just amazed just to think about how far we've come from a town that had no Major League sports to now we have all of the sports. And our social media following on all of our channels is just really excited anytime you start posting about the Raiders, regardless of how you might feel about the team, but the fact that this is Las Vegas and we're now a winning city.
I love the fact that we won our first game. Like, to me, that was huge, a win in our stadium, the first game. I think it's really interesting, just kind of to go off on a little bit of a tangent. I've been watching the NFL games yesterday, Sunday. I love the fact that they're using this pre-recorded audio of the crowds on the television, because I forget that the stadiums are empty. They're not showing, pictures of the stadiums or anything. They're just focusing on the game. But I love the sound. It actually throws me off to where I think I'm really watching a football game. Do you have that feeling when you watch?
Yeah, it's so true. When we were watching on TV last night, I mean, this stadium just looks amazing. State of the art, the sound and energy of the theoretical crowd. Who knows where they got that sound from, I guess. Maybe
one of the many games.
Yeah, from
sure.
Back in Oakland or whatever. Hopefully from one of their games, I guess. But it was really surreal to hear the referees keep saying Las Vegas. It was just really exciting to be part of it.
I was a little bummed, especially for season ticket holders that were just so looking forward to being inside the stadium for the first game. This is not what we envisioned. Another example of Las Vegas kind of just rolling with the punches and keeping the momentum alive. I thought Las Vegas did it the right way. We had the Thunderbirds, as you say, flew over. We had the Killers at halftime on top of Caesars. So we did it right, and I really liked all the packages and stories that they told about saying goodbye to Oakland, hello to Las Vegas. So we are excited to have you, Raiders. Welcome to Las Vegas. Keep on winning for us. Okay, we are going to stick to the local trending topics, and we can officially say bars are back open in Clark County. But even though there was a lot of excitement, I found it hard to find anyone who actually went to a bar and posted about it. I really looked, you guys. This was really interesting because I saw a lot of people saying, finally, or it's about time, or were these poor bars suffering? I searched and searched and searched the internet for pictures of people at bars. I couldn't find them. Did you see any?
I did not see any. I share your sentiment that we saw people were generally excited for the businesses. We had actually sent out a letter from our Department of Planning to business license holders, the bars and taverns, about how to safely reopen and reminding them about the guidelines that were in place. And I think they sent it to like 500 and some businesses. So there were a lot of businesses that were impacted and closed that have since been able to reopen. But I did not see anyone actually out there. I mean, it was a Sunday night too, so maybe that played into it. But
maybe, but also I kind of feel like people are tired of getting the hate that they get on social media if they're making the decisions. I mean, I've been out to lunch with friends, socially distanced, XYZ, following all the rules, and been bombarded by people saying that I shouldn't be out. So I think maybe people are just saying, it's not worth it. I'm not going to post a picture of me at the bar. But at the same time, it was surprising to me because so many people are passionate about the bars reopening. So for me not to find any posts about anybody drinking somewhere was just a little shocking to me. Diana, what are you saying?
Yeah, I think you're right, Melissa. I think the sentiment we're seeing on social media is that, in general, people want things to open. Now, I said the same thing. Well, I'm so happy I'm not going to go to the bar because, I have kids, so I'm not really going to be able to go. But I think people are just ready for this economy to move forward. So I think you're right that the excitement, and especially what we see on social media, is just reopen. Give us a sign that things are improving, that we're moving forward. Maybe you're not necessarily going to go there yourself, but you want to know that our city is moving forward.
That's true. And I really, it's interesting every time the governor comes out with the new rates, and we're showing improvement. And every single time that our positivity rate goes down, it just really, it's, I don't know, exciting to me. I don't know if exciting is the right word, or really
encouraging.
Encouraging. That's the word I'm looking for. It is encouraging to me because I'm like, finally, okay, maybe there is a light at the end of this tunnel. Maybe one day we'll get there. So
one day our kids will be able to go back to school in person, and we are personally invested in that decision.
I mean, and that was one of the things I did see on social media was how bars can open, when are churches going to reopen, when are schools going to reopen, and so I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, we'll see.
We're on the right path. Here's hoping.
How's homeschooling going for you?
Well, it's a struggle. You have a first grader, I have a kindergarten, so I think for the little kids, it's just really hard. They really require that high level of regular participation from the parents to make it all work and help, navigate their laptops and whatever. So shout out to my husband for being an amazing distance learner and helping her navigate everything.
Yeah, and Diana, how's it going for you?
Yeah, I mean, I have older kids, but still, I mean, I'm sure as many parents feel, and we see it on social media, it's hard to do both. It's hard to work and be a teacher, and everyone's just trying to do their very best. So we offer a program here at the city that parents can take their kids to if they need help with homework or if they need to be somewhere during the work week. So I think everyone is just really trying to make it work. And we're all hoping that there at least will be some options for our kids. Some people may choose to stay home, and that's great, as well as to go to school. So, but along the same lines as the bars, I think that people they just want a choice. They just want to be able to make that decision.
Well, I did see that on social media, a lot of people saying, like, we're adults, we will make the decision whether or not we want to go to the bars or not. So, that's true. But I will say this, after a day of distance learning with my child, I need a bar at the end of the night.
Valid.
Right? I'm just kidding. Okay, guys.
It's not easy.
Finally, a national trending topic, and that is the passing of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a fearless girl tribute to RBG. Someone put a collar around the statue's neck. I think that was one of the most touching pictures that I've seen over the weekend since her passing. And just so many social media filled with pictures of her. There's a lot of controversy around when she's going to be replaced, we're not going to get into that, but I just love her history. She was a champion for equality, for women's rights, just for equality in general, and I was sad to see her pass. Jen?
I think it was an important reminder about the impact that she's had on so many things in the lives of so many minorities, and especially women, you know, dealing with if you've ever taken out a mortgage in your name or rented an apartment or had your own credit card, you know, the ability of us to be able to do that in modern society is really thanks in a large part to decisions that she's been a part of and cases that she's helped fight for. So definitely just a huge loss for, you know, the equality movement and moving forward in the future.
Diana?
Yeah, I thought it was great to see on social media that in D.C., people, families, mothers, daughters, they went out to the Supreme Court to talk about her, to lay flowers there. Obviously, she had a big impact on the world.
Yeah, you know, I think it's really interesting from a mother standpoint of a little girl that I have now women in positions of power that I can show my little girl, look at what they did. They can do it, you can do it. And, you know, a few decades ago that wasn't even possible, or the selection was few. And she's such a big one when it comes to women's rights, equality. She was on the side of some major decisions in our country, the Affordable Care Act, same-sex marriage. So, you know, we want to just honor her and rest in peace, and really liking the picture of that fearless girl statue. All right, guys, Jen, Diana, thank you so much for being here. And when we come back, it is Fire Prevention Week coming up. We're going to have some tips from our local fire department on everything from cooking safety to exit plans. We'll be right back.
Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Donate stuff, create jobs.
October 4th through 10th is officially Fire Prevention Week, so we wanted to get our local fire department in to talk about what they're focusing on to help the community. I'm joined by Fire Inspector Melanie Denon. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
A lot of information we can go over, so
yes.
Explain to us what Fire Prevention Week is.
So National Fire Prevention Association is a local, or not local, but national nonprofit, and they work on getting safety messages out to the general public for fire prevention, obviously. We know how devastating fires in the home can be, fires anywhere. So this year's theme is serving up fire safety in the kitchen.
Okay.
Yes, Las Vegas has seen a rise in 20% in home fires due to cooking alone this year versus the stats from last year. Yes.
Now, is that because people are at home more, do we think?
Yes, they're at home more, cooking with family, going out less. The restaurants are closed. The number one cause of home fires is unattended cooking. So yes, unattended cooking is the #1 cause, and it's usually grease fires. The grease gets really hot and then it catches on fire. So Fire Prevention Week this year, we hope to try and get messages out to the public to reduce that number.
So what can people do if, I don't know. There's so many different things. Grease fires. You could leave a towel next to What are some of the tips that you guys have for the community?
You want to have a clear area on the counter around your stove or your oven. So you want to keep everything away from an open flame and from a hot surface. Towels. A lot of people will cook breakfast in their bathrobes, and it has a long sleeve, and that can catch on fire also, which causes a burn to the person. You want to make sure you have a 3-foot clear area of space completely around your stove and your oven for children. Children are we have more child burns under the age of 12 than all burns combined when you look at all the different ages. 12 and under are the majority of burns, over 50%.
Is that just because they're going and they want to see what mom or dad are cooking and they
they'll reach
over?
up and grab a pot and pull it down, or they open the oven because they smell cookies. They don't realize, and they'll lean on the door. We have 97% of scald burns are from hot soup. Children under 9, so they are just at that age where they can reach the microwave and they don't realize how hot stuff is in the microwave, cup of noodles, and they'll pull it down because they can barely reach it, and they'll pull it right down on top of themselves.
How serious are those kinds of burns?
They can be up to 3rd degree depending on the heat and how long it's on their body before it gets cooled.
So is there a specific age group that you're seeing these kinds of house fires, cooking fires in?
The age groups are mostly, for children, it's usually scalds.
Okay.
Not so much from grease or, pulling a pan down as much. A lot of it is soup, hot tea, hot cocoa, and the elderly over 60, a lot of their burns are from grease and from hot tea or hot coffee.
Really?
Yeah. And as you age,
spilling it on themselves?
Yes. As you age, your hand-eye coordination decreases a little bit. Your skin becomes a little more sensitive. You have a thinner skin. So a burn on somebody who's 20 will be more severe on somebody who's over the age of 60.
Right.
It takes longer to heal. The burn tends to be more severe. It'll burn deeper into the tissues than it will if you're younger.
So let's talk about grease fires just a little bit more. What should you do if there is a grease fire in your kitchen?
If you have a grease fire, do not pick up the pan or the skillet. Leave it there. Put something on top of it to smother it, like a lid or another skillet or pan that's larger. So you want to seal it so the oxygen doesn't keep fueling the fire, and it will burn itself out once the oxygen is gone. The worst thing you can do is pour water on it, which actually splashes the oil up onto the wall, the cabinet, draperies. If you pick it up and try and turn it in a hurry, you spatter it, spray it, and then you get it on yourself, and it causes severe burns, and it'll catch your clothing on fire. So the best thing to do is just take a lid, put it on top, and smother it. Just let it burn itself out. Get out of the home and call 911 in case it doesn't go out and it starts to spread.
Now, what about, I pretty much think I know the answer to this, but I could be wrong. I'm not a fire expert. What about a towel? Just to
It'll
smother
catch the towel on fire.
Right, okay.
It doesn't stop the oxygen, and that's what we're trying to do when we put a lid on it, is stop the oxygen from fueling it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you guys surprised to see the number go up because people were home, or were you expecting it?
We were kind of expecting it. You see, when around the holidays, when more people are gathering, people are home more often. Christmas, Thanksgiving, stuff like that. Home fires, usually cooking fires, go up around that time of year. Also, not so much now with the times we're in now, but around the holidays, people imbibe more, they drink more. So when you're hanging out with family and friends and you're celebrating, people forget that they have food in the oven or food on the stove.
Wow.
So the unattended cooking. With the elderly, sometimes they take medications that can make them drowsy, and then they'll put something on the stove and then they'll fall asleep. So that's another cause.
Let's talk a little bit about the holidays, because Thanksgiving's coming up, and everyone, the big trend is to fry your turkey.
Yes.
But that's kind of worrisome for you all. A lot of people are doing it more than not.
Yes, it does come with risks. The best thing to do is make sure, if you're going to do it, it is more than 10 feet away from any part of your home, including an overhang, a balcony, a porch, anything like that. You want to make sure that you have a way to smother it, because when you're using a large pot full of oil, you definitely don't want to put water on it. We get a lot of burns from that too. People don't make sure that their turkeys are completely thawed. They need to be thawed for a couple days prior, and they need to be completely dry. When they have little chunks of ice and water, and then you stick it in that oil, it makes the oil react. And that's where you get the huge flare-up, and people get burns. And then the oil spills out, and if you're on a wooden deck or anything, it's going to catch that on fire also.
And what should you do with that oil once you're done with it?
You need to let it cool completely, maybe for a day or two before you dispose of it. It's kind of the same thing with fireworks. You want to let them, fireworks you soak them, but you want to leave them for at least a day. So you want to let the oil cool for at least a day or two before you dispose of it. If you pour it too hot into your trash in your garage, now you'll have a trash fire which will set your garage on fire.
I mean, the whole thought of frying a turkey actually freaks me out a little bit, so I've never done it, but I do know a lot of people who do it, and I actually stay away from them while they're doing it because it just makes me nervous. Some people are braver than I am, though.
Yeah.
So let's go away from cooking for a little bit, and let's talk about smoke alarm, drills in your home, exit strategies.
Yes.
I know that, in elementary schools, they're trying to teach kids about exit strategies and having a plan. And how important is that right now, especially with families being home because of the pandemic, and just having drills or knowing what to do?
It is extremely important. We have fire drills in schools all the time, every month, but we never have fires at schools. Schools have sprinkler systems, fire alarms. Homes don't have all of that. And it's proven that you cannot smell smoke when you are sleeping.
Really?
So smoke alarms are there to alert you at the first sign of smoke so that you have time to get out. They're not to alert you to fight the fire. We don't want anybody trying to do that, even with a grease fire. We want you to get out and let the firefighters come and battle the fire. They have the equipment, they have the SCBAs for breathing in the smoke, and people don't realize that if you don't have working smoke alarms, people that perish in fires, they don't wake up to escape. People die from smoke inhalation, not so much flames.
I had no idea that you could not smell smoke when you're asleep.
And one thing parents need to remember when they have little bitties, toddlers, they don't wake up. You see how young children sleep through anything, they will not wake up for a smoke alarm. So if your smoke alarms go off, you want to make sure if it's safe to do so, you go and rouse your children also. Okay. You want to have a smoke alarm in each sleeping area and in the hallways outside and on every level of your home if you have multi-level. Also, you want to sleep with your bedroom doors shut. The bedroom doors can prevent heat and smoke from coming into the bedroom for at least 20 minutes so that the smoke alarm in the hallway outside, the door collects the smoke instead of letting it come into your room. It collects it and pushes it to the ceiling where the smoke alarm can sense it and go off. Okay. And if your smoke alarms are interconnected, they will go off in your bedrooms even though there's no smoke in there to alert you. Okay. So that way you know, okay, we need to escape. So you need to practice with your children. You never react in an emergency the way you think you will, so practice makes perfect. The more you practice with your children 2 ways out of every room in the home, you have a meeting place across the street or a couple houses down away from the home so that when it's on fire, you're away from the danger. That way, if one parent and a child goes out the back door and another goes out the front, you all can meet.
Okay.
Never go back in for a family member or a pet. That's usually when people die because by that time, the smoke has had enough chance to get really thick and people are overcome by smoke inhalation.
Wow, so much to think about. Are there any websites or apps out there that could help me come up with a plan for my family? Because
absolutely.
I have a 2-story home and I could say, I don't know what to tell my kids other than come to mommy's room because I have a balcony and a ladder outside. Yeah. But other than that, am I telling them the right things to do? So where can people go?
NFPA.org has a lot of great information. They have apps that you can download on iPhones and Androids for children with actual fire safety games. They have little videos and games they can play. They also have a lot of good information for parents on exit drills in the home, escape plans, how to draw one out. They even have, you can download and print out like a floor plan and then draw your house into it. So it's specific to your home and you can practice with your kids.
Oh, that's really great to know. And I think it's really interesting. We've been touching on it a little bit, the fact that people are home so much more now.
Yes.
I think that for me, thinking, okay, well, we're at home. What are we going to do in case of the emergency?
Yeah.
So
always have 2 ways out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for all this information. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having us here.
All right, and thank you for watching at home. Remember, you can get in on the conversation. Just follow at City of Las Vegas. You can also catch all of our KCLV2 shows on YouTube, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.